Alright, we are officially live. So I guess get that match set up, and I will hop into spectate it.
I don't know how to set it up, so I'll link my profile, I guess.
Okay.
I have no idea how this works either.
I don't know how the challenging someone directly thing works, but if you're on the homepage, you can, click, like, add a friend or, like, invite a friend or something like that.
Oh, got it. Play with a friend.
Yeah, then you send Slippy that link first, and then send it to me so I can spectate.
Okay, so create a game, standard,
I'll
time
do
control,
10 minutes
real
and
time.
then 10 seconds. There are those settings.
10 minutes aside.
10 minutes total, and then... Hold on. Oh boy. Let me pull
Hello,
it up.
Taraga dude.
Hey, Taraga dude. What up?
Hey, Tor.
Where's this match?
You're setting it up.
Yeah, so you go to play with a friend, standard, time control, real time, and then 10 minutes per side, and then increments in seconds of 10.
Okay. And then random side?
No, set yourself as white first and then black the next team. Or the other way around, whichever you feel like.
Yeah.
The rules are you're going to play 2 games. If someone wins both games, then they win. If it's a tie, then you're going to do blitz rounds until someone wins 2 blitz rounds in a row.
Okay.
Alright, let me know when you both are in so I can join it.
Click the URL, I think.
Yeah, Slippy, click that URL. And then...
Oh, this is a general challenge. No one click the join the game link. Only Slippy can click it. Like if I click this right now, then it'll make a game against me.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Okay.
So are they good? Can I click it?
It should have updated.
Slippy's in now. Okay. So I just drag the pieces, yeah?
You have to you click and then click in the spot you want to put it.
Okay.
But it'll go the instant that you click the second time, so you have to be very sure about your move.
Okay.
Okay,
There's
so...
no, like, confirm button.
Once I'm gonna deafen you two, but you guys can, like, still talk. Try to keep comments brief, I guess. Me and Toro will, commentate this match.
Yep.
Alright.
Sounds
No
good.
other commentators?
Apparently not. I mean, I can... Maybe Allocator might get on. I'll see.
They said they were doing homework or something lame.
Alright.
I don't know how to start a game of chess, so I'll just do something.
Alright, I'll deafen you two. Alright, good luck, you two.
I start playing now? Okay.
You
Yeah.
can't go wrong.
I can go very wrong.
Oh boy.
Alright, let's see if he does E4 or a move that's objectively worse.
I don't know.
I actually opened with D4 for a while. I really liked opening with D4. Okay, B4 is not bad. It's a different kind of opening, but it works. At least it's not A4 or H4. Black with the standard opening, white unconventional, but it's only move 2, so we'll see.
Yeah, Slippy said, or no, Slime Tiger said he hasn't played in a while, really. So, but he has played. So I think they both have played before. So it should be, you know,
Okay.
not.
So there should be some understanding of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving that pawn up was not a good idea because now there's no defense on that knight. Whenever you move a pawn, you have to pay attention to what is going to be like when you move a pawn, it's almost always protecting something. You have to pay attention to what it won't be protecting after that move. So now his only escape is to move the bishop to d2. I think you're on the be right back screen still, Bram.
Oh boy. All right.
He could have moved the screen, but he'd have lost it. So he can sacrifice his bishop if he wants, but it's good to keep it out there. Black bishop, black pawn in the center. Now it's nice and protected. Now he's poking a lot of attacks into white's camp. This is already looking really good for Slippy.
Yeah, Slime didn't start off too well, but...
Yeah, edge move, it doesn't really achieve anything. It just gives black an extra turn, really.
Oh boy.
Black will probably, yeah, I was going to say either move a knight up or do d5 to open the pawns a little bit more. Take more control of the center. White with another clueless move.
Oh god. Well, maybe there won't be understanding here.
That's just a free piece for the knight. Knight's going to take on g4.
Yeah. Okay, maybe
Unless he moves the pawn. But there's no reason to do that instead of take with the knight. Taking with the knight's good because it puts it forward. It attacks a bunch of squares in white's camp. It's another free pawn, but black's not going to take. Black has 2 free pawns waiting to be taken.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll stay free for the second though, so I guess he doesn't have to act on it immediately, but I don't know why he wouldn't.
White's best option right now is bishop to g5. There it is, yeah. So now if he tries to take that pawn with the knight, he can take the queen right after. So the knight is kind of tied down right now until he moves the queen. And if he doesn't move the queen in a way that protects the knight, then it's a free knight. So he should do queen to e7, unless he wants to do something else, but I would do queen to e7. There's that pawn. He can't safely take with the bishop because the queen can just take it. But if he moves something there to protect it, like, I don't know. I don't think he can get a knight there in a reasonable amount of moves.
Yeah, I don't...
Yeah, there's not a lot of coordination going on. That pawn definitely doesn't help. The pawn on g4 doesn't help with coordination. There's no way to protect that bishop, really, besides... I mean, he could do h4 to protect it, but it's not protecting it when it takes the knight. So really, the bishop there is just holding the knight in place until he moves the queen.
Okay.
Yeah, just a waiting move, I guess. He's trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I would do e4 so he can move the pawn to e4 so you can move the queen to f3 and then take the knight. That's a good way to protect it. So then he has a pin on the queen and the rook, or a fork. Ooh, that's check. He can just move to f1 though.
Yeah. It looks... I'm guessing Slime wants to get the rook with the bishop. But... Okay, no, he can't do that.
Yeah, it was a good avoidance.
See,
Yeah, getting the queen to f3 so that he can have 2 points of attack on the knight on f6 would be good right now, but he doesn't see it. That pawn's probably just going to be taken.
Yeah, there's no reason for it.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, he missed the pin. Let's see if Slime sees that he can take the queen.
And
Remember, I was saying he can't move
Yeah.
that knight because then he loses his queen.
Yeah, you would imagine he would say it, but maybe not. I don't know what else he would be trying to do at this point, so he's probably like evaluating it. Okay.
Nope, he didn't see it. Watch him take with the queen now, just to rub it in.
Well, I'm
Queen takes
assuming
bishop h4.
Slippy didn't even notice that was a possibility since he...
Yeah, neither of them have noticed that. That's funny. So, from their beginner perspective, they're looking at that bishop right now. He's going to move the bishop out of the way, but that's not really out of the way. He can still take with the rook on b4.
Oh, he did get the
Oh,
queen.
he noticed it.
Okay.
Finally spotted it.
Well, that was good for him, but...
Yeah, king is going to take that bishop, and then rook should take the other bishop. Now rook to b4 takes the bishop, but he may not notice. That's an extremely... Now, if this were a high-skilled match, that'd be a terrible move, because right now he can do knight to e3, which is not normally a good move, but since it puts the king in check, he has to do something about it, and then black can take the queen with bishop to h3. So it's like you sacrifice the knight to a pawn, but it exposes the queen, and then he can take it the next turn. Do you see how that works?
Yeah.
Continuing to threaten that knight. Ideally, the queen really, really wants the f3 spot because it will do a fork. F6 spot. It'll do a fork on both the rook and the king. So the king will be in check. He'll have to move the king to to d7 or e8, and then the queen can take the rook on h8.
Yeah, hopefully he realizes that. I mean, he might blunder into it trying to get the knight,
his defense from that would be either moving the king, which is usually not good if you have other choices, because the king isn't a powerful piece, or to move the knight to g4, g7, or not g8, e8, or man, these chess notations hard to read. G4, g8, or e8. One of those knight moves will protect the spot where the knight currently is just by moving it away. But all right, he notices that he can take the bishop. Let's see if Slippy realizes he needs to protect the spot where the knight is. Otherwise, Slime should take it on the next turn, but maybe he just won't notice.
I have a feeling he won't notice. But... Not quite sure what that's meant to accomplish.
Yeah, it's just putting more pieces in White's camp, so it's kind of threatening some things. Maybe he can coordinate off of it, but he has to realize that he can move pieces that way to do something. There it is. That's the fork. So king can only go to d7, e8, or c8. Yeah. Oh, that was the worst possible move. Because now he's going to take the rook, and that's what's called a skewer. He's going to take the rook. The king has to move out of the way, and then he can take the other rook.
He didn't
notice it. So if black doesn't do something now, like it didn't before, yeah, okay, well, both rooks are safe now. But he could have had both rooks off the board.
Oh, that hurt a little bit.
Yeah, that's rough. Well, I don't know what's happening from here. There's nothing really going on. There's no plans.
Yeah, they're just kind of moving pieces, honestly.
Yeah, developing the knight outward is good. But, what's going to happen? What's he going to do with it? The queen is in a pretty... okay spot. It's hard for her to do anything though, because she's blocked by all the pawns and the king and the rook. Best approach would be to move it to h6 and try to take the h7 pawn, since both players have plenty of time to do things right now, except for right now. White should move to e1 to threaten the bishop. The bishop doesn't have a lot of free moves. In fact, the bishop has no free moves. If he moves to e1, the bishop can't safely go anywhere except for a4, where it's protected by a pawn. And then it's basically trapped there.
Oh.
Alright, he's probably just trying to move it further up the board. He'll probably go f6 or f5 with it next, with the knight.
Oh.
Ooh, that's interesting. Now he can move the queen. So like I said earlier, you have to pay attention to what protections you're getting rid of by moving pawns. Now that that pawn has moved forward, he could move the queen to e5 and check the king. And then next he could go to c, take the pawn on c7, and then threaten the rook and the knight at the same time, and it goes downhill fast just by moving that one pawn if they were to see it. But, you know, beginner game.
If he moves the king up a bit, he can get that bishop. Or if Slime moves the king, he can get the bishop with... Oh, no, he can't, not necessarily. Okay.
Yeah, there's that check. You can only move left or right. You can't take the diagonal place at d7 because the bishop protects it. Wow, that's... Yeah, he should have gone to the left to protect that pawn, because if Slime were to see it, he would take c7, take that pawn, and then he would be threatening the rook and the knight in one move. So when he moves to protect one or the other, he takes the other piece.
Hopefully he sees it, because he is working with the queen a bit right now. But...
Yeah, usually as pieces clear up, beginners will notice more things like that. So we'll see. The hardest thing for beginners is seeing what every piece is doing at once. There's so many different combinations of moves that can happen that it's hard to notice things. Yeah, so that's not good. It's good to have the rook threatening that pawn, because now the pawn on b5 can move for free. You can just go to either. Take 7.
Oh boy.
He could also... He has mate in 2 right now, actually. He could move the knight to f5 and then move the queen to e7, and then that's checkmate.
Oh, let's see if he notices.
I'm not sure what that king move is trying to do.
I don't...
Threatens the rook. Okay, black is starting to coordinate in the queen side of white's camp now. This combination is deadly like this. It's hard to find free spaces to move a rook. That rook doesn't have a lot of free spaces. Actually, he has 0 free spaces. He can't go up because the pawn takes. He can't go down because the bishop takes. And all 3 spaces to the left, the bishop or the rook or the knight can take. So that rook is effectively dead.
Yeah.
So if it were me, I would take advantage of the fact that he's eager to take that rook by moving my knight to f4 or to f6. Sorry. Move the knight on h4 to f5. No, that's... Oh, but the pawn can take. Maybe he misclicked. The pawn can take, dude. What are you doing?
He might have just got
eager. And the rook can take.
Yeah, he might have just got eager to see he could put him in check, and he went for it.
Maybe he panicked. Maybe he didn't think he could do anything else, but... Well, there goes mate in 2. He can still... What he should have done... Oh, crap.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
How long has that been there? He forked the rook and the queen, and I didn't even see it.
Yeah, I don't know. We were too focused on
I'm not even... I'm not even a beginner, and I missed that. That knight has been looking at the queen for 3 whole moves.
Yeah,
Oh,
we were way
that's
too
interesting.
focused. I don't want to speak too
Well-
soon, but I think Slime Tiger is in trouble.
Yeah, it's even for power pieces, but Slippy has 3 more pawns, and that gets very aggressive in the end game. Now it's a matter of Black scooping up the rest of the pawns and making sacrifices where he can, and then just waltzing his pawns to the other side, getting the queen and winning the game.
Oh. Hopefully, he carries through. Although they do seem to be somewhat like equally balanced, so I'm curious if we'll see a one win,
Yeah.
one loss. But I would like to see a blitz game. That would be fun. But
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, rip that pawn on e5. That's an easy fall next turn. Well, he delays it. The pawn has to move now. Or the bishop has to move out of the way now.
yeah, but that still doesn't help much. I don't really see any good moves though for Slime.
Yeah, Slime's not in a good spot, but it's a beginner game, so anything can happen. Pawn to f4 would be good. He could threaten the rook and get a pawn moving. And protect that pawn as well, but pawn falls down to 3 pawns.
Oh boy. Okay, moving the rook a little bit.
All right, we're looking at the G rank file. I don't remember what the terms are. Rows,
don't
I
ask
think,
me.
are ranks, and columns are files, I think. I'm probably have that backwards, though. All this wacky chess terminology.
Yeah, you know more of it than me, so props to you.
F4 is still a good move. That doesn't achieve anything because the pawn can just take the bishop. But if he's unaware that the rook is a more valuable piece than the bishop, then he probably sees that as a good move, a good sacrifice. The king is looking really rough right now, though. Once those pawns get moving, interesting.
Yeah,
You can take the pawn at c7 now. But once those pawns get moving, there it is. King's not going to have a good time. The king gets pushed away by pawns really easily. What would really be interesting is if he did d7 with the rook next move, because then the rook on d8 could take, and then the bishop would take, so it'd be a rook exchange. Clear up the board a little bit, because that's a really powerful rook on d4, or d8, I mean. That rook holds a lot of command. It's good to sacrifice a lesser, because white's rook on c8-7. I wouldn't have done that combination.
What was that? Oh, okay, wait, I see.
It's safe, but it's not the best. It's good to sacrifice a lesser useful, because like if it's the same piece but one is doing more, it's good to make the sacrifice. Because the rook on c7 isn't doing that much, or at least not nearly as much as the rook on d8 was. But he moved that out of the way. I'm not sure why it wasn't threatened, but. Not sure why he would move it 1 instead of 2. I don't see the value.
Maybe he misclicked it. Or maybe, maybe he forgot. I don't know.
Yeah. A4 is trying to make the walk to the queen rank, but the The rook is there to take it, so.
I mean, but he does have the bishop, and this a problematic piece. Because once it moves up again, he can't stop the pawn without the rook being taken.
Yeah, so I just looked it up. Ranks are the rows, and that's easy to remember because they both start with R.
Okay.
So rows are ranks, columns are files. Again, not sure what that bishop achieves. He could always go to C8 and then have a mini fork, but the rook would just take. He should definitely do that now so that he can get his bishop out of the way and get a rook off the board at the same time. Because if he doesn't move that bishop, it's gonna die. But beginners usually move the piece that's immediately attacked and not a different one that forces the opponent to do something else. Not sure what he thinks he's going to achieve getting that queen without the rook protecting it. He's got to get the rook to A8 first. He gets the B file rook to A8. Then it's kind of safe, but the rook will still have to sacrifice for the queen, and then the rook takes, and then it's really bad because Slime's down a rook.
Slime's running low on time, too. I mean, he still has almost 4 minutes, but...
Oof. It's a shame that he was already protecting it with G1. And that's check. If he doesn't go to D, actually, this is really interesting spot. So if he goes to D3, then he's fine. But if he goes to either C, yeah, so he moves the queen to A1, and that's checkmate. If he promotes the pawn on A1, that would have been checkmate, but it's not anymore. The king can safely take the F2 pawn now. That would have been a crazy interesting play, but no, not gonna happen.
Probably wasn't thinking.
Well, we were one step away from the game ending, but now it's going to take a long time again. What's going to happen from here?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I mean, Slippy's still in the lead, I'd say, but... Why would he do that? No, I guess that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine because the other rook is still protecting the A file. He's got to do something to threaten the king. There's things he can do, but he's not doing them. That's a start. If he risks leaving the A pawn, he can move the rook all the way to the right side of the board and then up to check the king. Yeah, this isn't looking good anymore.
Yeah.
Man, Slime's going to be upset when he listens to this video back and realizes he was one move from checkmate twice. Oh, there it is. So he's going to promote the pawn for sure. But at what cost? He's going to move the rook up to H8 probably to put him in check. The king will have to move to E7. And then that's a skewer, which means he takes the rook. But again, at what cost? So he takes one rook, but the opponent got a whole queen in exchange. So, and on the next move, the black is going to take the bishop too with the king. So it really wasn't a good sacrifice at all. Oh, he didn't even take it. So now that rook is probably going to fall if Slippy sees it.
Yeah, he just lost. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
He's probably waiting to move the rook down to E2 to check the king. Or move the queen to e2 to take the pawn and check the king. Probably that one. That won't be checkmate. He'll have one move left, but it's a matter of time. If queen takes on e2, then the king can safely move to g1.
If he moves bishop up... Oh wait, no, he can't do that. Never mind.
He's basically got no chance right now. Yeah, like that again. At what cost? So the queen is going to take on e2 if he sees it. Oh, that's, taking with the rook is checkmate? I thought he could move to... Oh, yeah, because the queen protects the bottom rank by staying there. So, yeah, that's checkmate.
Wow, okay.
All right.
Here, let me on.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Hello.
I have permission to unmute them, too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, guys, funny story. Slime Tiger was one move from checkmate 2 different times that game.
Yeah, but I kept missing things.
Yeah, it was rough.
That's usually
That
how it
scared
goes.
me when you took my queen.
It scared
Yeah,
me
we
when you
didn't
took my
even-
queen.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't
we
even
were so
say it.
focused on a different spot of the board that we didn't even notice it.
That's what happened when my queen got took. I was like, oh, I'm about to get mate here.
Alright, well, there is... You got another shot at redemption, though. So...
Yeah.
Yeah, one more game.
So switch colors and...
Do I
So
click
hold on, I just
rematch
want to
for
point
that?
out something in this game,
Okay.
if I can find it. I don't remember where it was. Just set up the next game.
Okay. Do I click rematch or make a new one?
You can click rematch, I think. I'm not really sure how it works.
Hopefully it switches your colors. I don't think it will. You should just re-challenge and then switch the colors.
Okay.
Okay, I'm putting up the BRB screen. Someone remind me to take it off, please.
What did I start?
Oh, okay, so if you go to move 44, when you put the king in check with the pawn on e1, or on e3, if you simply promoted the pawn right there, it would have been checkmate. But instead you took the other pawn with the pawn on e3.
I was white, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, black. If black simply
I'm setting
promoted
up
his
a new
queen
game.
on... If Slippy had just promoted his pawn on a1 after the king moved back to e1, it would have been checkmate.
What move was that on?
43.
44.
Oh, 40. Oh, yeah.
44, but actually, I think I missed when a piece got moved because he would just be able to take it with the rook. He would have had to move the bishop back to a4 first to protect it. Then he would have been able to safely do it.
Can I join that match yet? Or...
No. Slippy, click the new link.
You can click the link, just don't click join game.
No. Yeah, I don't experiment with this.
Alright,
site,
now we're good.
Yeah. Hold on. Alright. Alright, taking down the BRB.
I think you guys are the same colors as before.
Are we?
No.
I was black last time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Flippy was
it-
black.
Oh, you're right. Okay, my bad.
Alright, I'll deafen you too. Good luck.
Good luck. Don't forget to unblock the screen, Bran.
I got it already. I am way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, don't forget to unblock it.
Okay. Hey, Mipcon.
I'm back. It's been 10 minutes.
Newcom, hello.
We're
Cool,
just
we got
starting the second game of this match.
I've got a
All right.
commentary buddy who will kind of know what I'm talking about. Who will know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Hey, I knew what you were talking about for the most part.
So what did I miss?
It was a game that was close a lot of times, but they, being beginners, didn't see how close it was.
Oh.
And it basically went way longer than it should have. But both of them were like one move from checkmate, like 2 different times.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting opening. Slippy
Well, it
going.
starts out with
You
the
talk.
Smith Mora, and then just think this, and then just kind of gets weird. Yeah.
I don't know the chess opening names, but yeah, this is weird. I was gonna say he's going hard with the pawns, moving 3 of them up like that. That's a good knight move. He can take the pawn next turn. He still can take the pawn next turn. Technically, a scholar's mate is still... No, it's not because the knight's there. I would take the pawn with the bishop to threaten the knight and the queen pawn. If
Wait, take the center pawn with the black bishop?
No, sorry. If white takes on g5
yeah.
with the bishop.
Yeah, obviously.
White can also do d5 to threaten the knight. White's got a lot of good moves right now, but he's just pushing pawns forward. Yeah. White is way more developed than he thinks he is.
Knight needs to develop. Like, instead of pushing that pawn, maybe just, like, bishop b5 straight away.
Yeah. Yeah, bishop b5. Bishop takes on g5.
Bishop b5, definitely.
Pawn on d5. Like, there's a lot of good moves he can do with this opening, but he's just not doing them. Come on, do one of the bishop moves. They're cool. Do it. Oh, nice. All right, cool. So we've got a pin on the queen.
That's barely a
And
pin.
it's but it's a pin. Some beginners will still move that pawn.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a
Slippy
pin
did leave its
nonetheless.
queen last time, so maybe Slime will as well.
What do you think, Meep? If he goes pawn to f6, should he take the knight or back off? Sacrifice for the knight? Or exchange?
I think I would take the knight, and then when bishop takes, push g5, but that's assuming f6 hasn't happened.
Yeah. Well, no, we're saying that, yeah, f6 would have happened because that's what's making the bishop exchange.
All right. In that case, then h4 first. No,
yeah, I would move the bishop back too, because it maintains the pin on the. Well, it doesn't maintain the pin, but it's a good position in general. It's a good spot for the bishop. It's a nice hidey hole.
At this point, I think white should just be trying to trade down as much as possible because you're up 2 pawns. So I definitely take the knight the next turn.
I'd still try to develop a little more. I would have done like if this were my board, I'd do d5 still to threaten the knight. The knight doesn't have anywhere to. I guess it could go to b4. But I'm okay with the knight being on b4 in exchange for the pawn on d5. I mean, the knight's only other spot is back home, which he just did. I'm not sure why, but it wasn't even threatened. Why did he move it?
Well, as
we're just on. Are we returning the
scared.
pieces?
Yeah, I think they're scared though. Start.
All right,
Yeah,
let's start the
trading
game over.
pieces.
We're gonna put the pieces back to where they start. What?
Oh no.
What is going on? Come on now. Why the pawn though? Okay, that's not bad. I guess that's a good spot for the knight, but I like the pawn there more. It would be better for the knight to be there if the other knight wasn't on c6.
Well, I mean,
He can move
after
the
bishop.
actually he can move the bishop to e7 and then have a really
Is that me lagging or is that Toro lagging?
Toro, your audio's glitching out a lot.
Yeah.
Is it? I just heard you glitch out of bed.
Yeah, it was really bad.
So it's fine.
No, it's you.
Broke the bed. What's wrong? Internet fine. Started to go fast.
Is this working?
Hello? How do I
Hello.
sound?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I just had to restart Discord.
Yeah,
Weird, I
that
guess.
was a Discord thing. It like booted me from like the voice channel for a second, like right after you left. So
That's weird.
Well, White's pretty clearly gonna win. I don't think Black can stop that mate. Yep,
Oof.
well, it's
Ouch.
checkmate.
Yeah.
Slippy better see it.
Come on, Slippy. End it now.
it's pretty obvious.
Oh, actually, Slippy could have stopped it with Slime could have stopped it with F6.
There it is. Slippy wins
GG.
twice. GG.
GG.
Welp.
GG.
Good games, guys.
Sorry for playing quite aggressively in this.
I played more aggressively this round too.
Nah, dude, aggression's where it's at.
Yeah.
Aggression is the fun way to play. Bram, can you pin the link to the challenge site bracket?
In here?
Yeah, it's not pinned, and it's not a pinned message.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me send it again. Pin. Alright, let me update the brackets right now.
Alright, so that's the last of the games for tonight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll be back tomorrow at 6:40, right? You indefinitely?
Yeah. Tomorrow's Meatcom versus Definitely
Definitely, yep.
at 6:40-ish.
Yeah, and then it's me and Lightning on set 6 on Thursday, which I'm nervous about, but so I haven't played really in like years, so.
Oh, Slippy, you get to play me next.
Oh no! I've played you at Go.
Yeah, Go's. We got to do a Go tournament. Go's so much fun.
I don't know how to play.
Yeah, I kind of
Everyone
want
learn how
do
to
that.
play Go and then do a Go tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if that's something we want to do,
I like
I'd be
Go.
down for it. Like, I'm not good at it, but
How are you liking Go, me?
It's very different because with chess you have all the pieces. It just depends on like how you move them around, and then just like it's all kind of about the position and the things you can do.
Yeah,
And it's like Go, like you build the position.
Go's a little more abstract. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it more though because it's there's a saying that goes that chess is the battle and Go is the war. Like Go is way more of a war than chess really is. Chess is a much shorter game with a lot less positional stuff than Go. And Go, when you have like a ton of positions that are building up different things happening all around the board, it becomes really, it's beautiful to me, to be frank. I just think it's a really cool game. I love Go. It's my favorite board game. I like it more than chess.
What's like the basic premise of Go?
Stones.
Yeah, you place stones in a way to capture territory, which is basically just surrounding as many squares as you can with your stones. Yeah, you should definitely learn it. There's a bunch of free tutorials on online-go.com. Very fun.
I'm just
game.
doing all of the tactics lessons on there. I'm just learning from that.
I did the same thing at first until I started, and then once you like are decent at those things, then you just jump into 9x9s and you lose a bunch and learn all the different positions that you won't lose to again, and then you get better and better. All my first games were just blitzes on 9x9s until I figured out all the positional stuff, and then I went to the bigger board. When you play on a bigger board, it's seriously fun. Like me and Slippy's game was very, very fun to me.
Yeah, that was a really fun game to play. I haven't played a long game in years. Oh, and I love the 9x9 blitz. It's lots of fun to play.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up the stream. So our next stream will be 6:40 p.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, EST. It's just one round tomorrow. Should be fun. Hope to see people there. Alright, see ya.
See you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.